Okay, part 2 of going over the page that talks about Palestine in my Bible from 1822. Bethlehem, also called Ephrata, and the city of David, is famous for being the birthplace of Christ. It is about 2 miles to the southeast of Jerusalem on the ridge of a hill, at present only an inconsiderable place. Raha, the ancient Jericho, is 18 miles northeast of Jerusalem, situated in a plain 6 or 7 leagues long by 3 wide, surrounded by a number of barren mountains. Haborn, or Hebron, is 24 miles south of Bethlehem. The Arabs call it El Kahil, the well-beloved. It is situated at the foot of an eminence, on which are some remains of an ancient castle. Nazareth, now only a small village, is on the top of a high hill. Cana of Galilee, otherwise called Cana Minor, celebrated for the miracle wrought by Christ of changing the water into wine, is nothing more than a small village with very few inhabitants. Sidon, called by the Turks Said, is situated on the seacoast. It was anciently a place of great strength and had a very extensive commerce. Though it is still populous and the place of considerable trade, it has fallen from its ancient grandeur. Its exports consist of silks with raw and spun cotton, the manufacturing of which employs most of the inhabitants, amounting to about 5,000. The city is defended by an old castle built in the sea. Tyre, called by the Turks Sour, is about 20 miles to the south of Sidon. It was once very celebrated for its purple, called the Tyrian dye, produced by shellfish. The city was, in ancient times, the center of an immense commerce and navigation, and the nurse of arts and science. The ancient city stood, originally, on an island joined to the mainland by a mole, the remains of which appear at present. It has 2 harbors, that on the north side is very good, but the other is choked up with ruins. The present inhabitants are only a few poor fishermen who live in vaults and caves. Caesarea was first called Strabo's Tower and was the capital of Palestine. This city was divided into 2 parts by a little hill, whereon was erected a temple dedicated to Caesar. Jericho is situated in a large plain about 20 miles long and 10 broad, bounded by a variety of mountains on the southwest, the west, and north. It is at present inhabited by a few miserable Arabs. Sorry. One thing about these older books is they did not give a shit about anybody's feelings, and I absolutely love it. I wish we could go back where people were just blunt and said exactly what they thought. The Mount of 40 Days is situated on the north side of the plain of Jericho. The summit is covered neither with shrubs, trees, nor earth, but consists of a solid mass of white marble. It is very difficult and dangerous to ascend, the path leading by a winding course between 2 dismal abysses. This mountain is one of the highest in the province and one of the most sacred places. It takes its name from the rigorous fast which Christ observed here. From this mount may he seen the hills of Arabia, the country of Gilead, the country of the Ammonites, the plains of Moab and that of Jericho, the river Jordan, and the whole extent of the Dead Sea. Opposite to Jericho, beyond Jordan, rises Mount Nebo. Mount Carmel, on the south side of the Bay of Acre, projects at one part into the sea, forming a great promontory called the Point of Carmel. There are a number of grottos, gardens, and covents on this mount, as also many cisterns for receiving the rainwater. On this mountain was a fortress called Ecbatane. Mount Tabor is most delightfully situated, rising amidst the plains of Galilee, distant about 12 miles from the city of Tiberias. It is distinguished by different names as Idabiran, Tiberium, and by the Arabs, Gebel el Tor. It is in appearance like a sugar loaf, and is covered from the top to the bottom with small trees. Palestine, which comprehends the ancient country of Canaan and was occupied by 9 tribes of Israel, has experienced many and severe revolutions. The extreme fertility of the country and its many advantages and happy situations induced the neighboring and powerful kingdoms to attempt its subjection. Most of them succeeded in reducing to obedience and slavery the peaceable inhabitants. The Persians, Saracens, Syrians, and Romans have alternately been masters for a time and then obliged to yield to superior force. They treated the conquered with an utmost barbarity and committed the greatest devastation and slaughter, not even sparing old or young, women or helpless children. Thus, it continued changing its ferocious masters until in the 12th century, the Turks taking Caesarea, the whole country fell into their possession and has continued under their power ever since. The innumerable scenes of blood and desolation exhibited in this country have changed it from that happy, fruitful, and prosperous state so beautifully described in Deuteronomy to an almost uninhabited desert and heap of ruins. Few traces of its ancient splendor remain, and confusion and doubt hang over all the researches of the Inquirer. The present masters exercise ultimate and tyrannical authority over their slaves in Palestine, keeping the miserable inhabitants in the utmost subjection, governing them by caliphs and bashas with rods of iron, and holding them in the most deplorable ignorance and superstition. It's almost like history repeats itself over and over and over again. And like I've said, the blues have been evil since the dawn of time. So, is there anything else you would like me to look up? There's tons of stuff in this Bible. Like, this whole part is basically a breakdown going over every single part of the Bible and breaking down like what this person thinks, observations. And then there's also like, it explains what the words mean. It explains the extra steps on the side. Like, hold on, if you look in the Bible, I'm just going to turn to a random page. Oh, this is the Apocrypha Files. But see how it'll say these random things? So the back is where it tells you all about that. There's a lot of these like crazy pictures too. Now just look at this, okay? He's obviously got a dog. But tell me that doesn't look like a sea creature, right? Like the creature from the Black Lagoon, Tobias and the angel. And this is a story in the Apocrypha. We read over one of them. It's about dragons. But if you guys want me to go over any other ones, or should we just do all the Apocrypha Files? This is like where the people would put their information of who owned it. Look at that, 1793. That is so crazy. Anyways, so yeah, let me know if there's something else you want me to look up. There's also a couple maps in here, which is really, really cool.